By my 9th month reselling on Amazon, I was spending over $50,000 every single month on profitable inventory that was yielding me over 5 figures a month in profit from a business I literally just started 9 months ago. And it's just mind blowing to me how quick you can actually grow a business nowadays with the things that we have access to. But spending $50,000 on profitable inventory is not easy. So what I want to do today is share things that I learned throughout that 9-month period that helped me get there as fast as possible, and things that you're most likely not really thinking of right now, because unfortunately a lot of people misguide you online. If you've been following me for a long time, you know I like to keep things real, and I'm going to tell you how it actually is so you have realistic expectations, because the reality versus the expectation that you might most likely have right now is vastly different. So I have 5 things I want to share with you that I can promise you is going to help it make it easier for you to go out there and spend your desired money on some good products to flip so you can actually build a business. Now, the first lesson here, variety in your products equals predictability. Okay, relying on a few hero products is extremely risky. The more products that you're going to have, it's going to make it easier to spend and actually predictably control your cash flow. Because I'm going to show you an example here. A lot of people, I made videos on this in the past, solely rely on a handful of items to make all their money, and this can be very beneficial for a couple months. It might even last you a year, but eventually brands can get re-restricted, they can get regated, there can be issues with IPs, you just can't sell it anymore, the items are no longer even profitable, and people get caught holding the bag on these items with no real business behind it. Okay, again, relying on a few hero products is extremely risky, but if you have access to all kinds of niches and brands to sell by just sourcing more, you're going to have plenty of predictability inside your cash flow, more diverse products. This is going to protect you, and you want to pretty much compile a lot of small wins, a lot of different ASINs that make you a couple $100 each a month. That's allowing you to take home your total nest egg of profit, right? This is much better than one home run. I would much rather have 10 different ASINs that make me $200 each a month than one ASIN that makes me $2,300. Okay, even if that one ASIN is making me more money compared to the other 10 combined, I don't want just that one, because if that one goes away, well, your business is going to fold under. And just to give you an example here, let's just pretend we have 16 different items on our store versus 8 items. And out of these items, 3 of them are no longer able to be sold, right? With the 16 ASINs, we've only lost about 19% of our sales versus the 8 ASINs, we've lost nearly half of our sales because we weren't protecting ourselves. Okay, and this is huge. And the bigger problem here is the people that have less ASINs generally only dominate in like one brand or one niche. So you might be saying, well, yeah, obviously, like, 16 ASINs versus 8, there's higher chance that these 16, there's more products you can't sell. But in reality, the person that has more ASINs like this is much more diverse. And again, the person that's selling these 8, if one of them go out, well, then again, the whole entire store, for the most part, sometimes just folds under. Okay, so this is the first big lesson that I learned very quickly on, is I want to be selling everything. I don't want to just be selling one brand or one product. I need to sell everything. So like my first couple products, I sold like GNC supplements, I sold shampoos, I sold conditioners, I sold like beauty carry bags. I was selling a bunch of items I was getting from Walgreens. I had like these gels, all kinds of stuff I was selling my first month. Badger Balm, everything. Scrub Daddies. I went very wide. So when an item ever ended up, I wasn't able to buy it anymore for a profitable price, I didn't even care. Some people, like, they lose a product and like their whole world falls apart. That wasn't the case for me. So variety equals predictability. That is lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 that is like so important for me, that helped me so extremely well, is having a daily spend goal. Okay, daily spend goals equal sourcing with ease. Let's break down some numbers to get to that 50K month in spend, which is about 6 figures in revenue. Okay, you're spending about $1,500 a day, which is $4,500 a month, or sorry, $45,000 a month. It is so much easier to spend $1,500 a day, especially over time, once you're able to have a lot of replans, right? When you're restocking things, in the beginning, it's difficult, which is why I don't say go and drop 50K month 1. But when you have replans and you've sold through items, instead of only placing test orders on items and spending $100 to $200 per item, you're now spending $1,000 to $2,000 per item because you're scaling it up. And at that point, spending this money is a lot easier, right? Maybe you're only buying a couple items a day once you get to that stage. You obviously can't start here. You have to test first, which is why I don't think you should just be dumping 50K in right away. I think a good starting point is about $3,000 to $5,000 for arbitrage for month 1. I think that's a good starting point to start compounding off of. Okay, but at the end of the day, when you are trying to spend a lot of money, okay, it's so much easier to do it on a daily basis. And I made a video about this a couple months ago where I went back and I showed you like each daily spend and kind of how I was structuring and why it was so easy. But not only is this going to make it easier for you to spend money, but it's going to make sourcing a habit, because now you're spending every single day doing it. So whether it takes you 30 minutes to hit your spangle or it takes you 3 hours, you're forcing yourself to sit there and do it, and you're going to hit your numbers, right? Because good days are going to outweigh the bad days at the end of the day. Some days you might have a very bad day of sourcing. The next day will be a good day, and you can even that out. And again, consistency compounds, like for any business that you're going to get into. Plain and simple, hitting your spangles become really easy when you have a base catalog, kind of how I mentioned early on, right? When you have a lot of base products that you can replan, hitting this is extremely easy. And again, these are some big numbers we're using. Like I'm not, to make 100K worth of sales, you're producing 200, 300K a year in profit. That's a lot of money. You don't need to be shooting for this the first couple months, right? This can be as simple as $150 a day to get to your first $10,000 month, right? It doesn't need to be $1,500. And at that stage, it's much smaller numbers to hit. And it's a lot easier, obviously, than hitting this 10X number on that. So just realize that it is going to get easier as your store compounds. But guys, like a huge lesson and a huge thing I can tell you is just like develop a daily spangle, figure out what that number is, stick to it, don't miss a day, or at least don't miss a week, and you will for sure hit your numbers, okay? Everyone will look back at their days and be like, okay, well, this month I produced 10K revenue. Well, it's because I spent about 4 to 5K, right? Why did I have such a bad month this month? Well, it's because you didn't spend any money the month prior. You got to spend money on good inventory, and this is going to force you to do that. That's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3, which is going to hit home for some people, right? And for me too, when I started out, some products are going to flop. It's inevitable. You're not going to have winners on everything, and you can't get too attached to any one item. So, this is how you should be looking at it though, right? Your winners should cover your losses, because typically the losers are not like huge losers where you're losing hundreds on the item. Like typically you're breaking even. Like the biggest loss, if you're analyzing properly, should be you recoup your money and you break even. And at the end of the day, all that matters is your end take home, like what your total take home is. And one big thing I can say is I would not recommend holding items for months waiting for it to recover. Items will recover, and they usually do, but I'd rather, it takes months usually for this to happen. Like it could take 4 months, even up to a year sometimes for items to recover. And you could have simply sold through that item, just priced it aggressively, sold through, even if you're losing 20 cents per sale, whatever, recoup that money, turn it 4 more times. And then you track these items that you maybe lose on, and you're getting re-alerted for them later. And then you're just going to go and buy them again when they're profitable again and make money on it then. But it's better to do that than to sit on your inventory, right? My personal thing is as soon as items become available, I am selling through, okay? I'm pricing it competitively at the current market price, and I'm trying to get sales because I want to turn my money as many times as possible. And obviously you get better at this with time because you have more options to choose from, more products to buy, and you can buy your better products that are going to produce you much higher profits. And if you want to see a breakdown on this, go watch this video. I filmed it about 8 months ago, and I literally just showed you my seller board from month 1 to month 12, and you can see how like my months progress, and you can see how I had a lot of items in my month. I made 15K the 1 month, and you can see the items in there, like a lot of them were break evens. I even lost some on some, but my overall profit was still really high because, again, my winners outweighed my losers. And this is something you have to just be conscious of and realize that this is okay. This is not a big deal. This is fine. This is normal in an inventory-based business, and your margins will get better over time when you are now only buying winners as the prices and the offers are coming down, prices are going up, and that's when you typically should be buying items for your store. Lesson number 4 is you should be striving for systems, not a hustle, okay? Like this is one huge thing. This is why there's sellers that have been selling on Amazon for 5, 6, 7 years, more than I have, and they still are hustling every day and they're still struggling. It's because you didn't develop your systems quick enough. You have to do it as fast as possible, as soon as you start. Okay, tracking your leads and using spreadsheets, like everything that you're about to buy, track it. This is going to be your nice database. Everything that's very close, let's say it's at a 15% ROI today, but maybe 3 months ago was profitable. Get that thing tracked with keep a track thing, and also put it into a spreadsheet because you're going to buy it later. This is what's going to make it really easy for you to buy products. The only way to have a sustainable arbitrage business is to make it as easy as humanly possible to spend money on a weekly basis. Like once you can do that and you don't have to sit there and source for hours to spend money, you have your system running for you, and you can even get a VA to come on board that you trust, that's well vetted, to even do the spending for you, and then you can oversee the whole operation. Like that's when you become fully hands off. But in order to get there, you have to be able to have leads compile and compound over time. And this is how you have to do it, is by setting up these systems with a lead tracker, your consistent spreadsheets, and again, getting a VA, because the VA is going to explode your business. Like my VA that I hired, my first one, I hired in August. My first month was April. So it's a couple months in. And at that stage, I was doing about 30K revenue a month, taking home about 4,000, 5,000 in profit. And that is when I hired my first virtual assistant and I exploded my sales. I think I doubled it the following month, and then I doubled it again going into February. So that was a huge help for me. And again, you need to treat it like a business and not a grind. And the easiest way to do so, like I just mentioned, getting a VA, tracking your products. And I want to show you 2 quick examples because I know for sure for these 2 students of mine, Melissa and Damien, like they went and hired a VA and I knew it exploded their store right away. And I know they were spending much less time inside the business once this happened. Melissa just had a crazy month, just almost hit 50K, which is just insane. And I know that she worked really hard to get her VA on board. And Damien too crushed, a 100K month about 2 months ago now, and he's continuing to hit 6 figures every single month with his online arbitrage business. Guys, these people are using virtual assistants to help them. They are obviously putting in a ton of time to train them and do everything, and it's not that easy to just go and find some random person to do this for you. But eventually you want to consider this with the lead tracker, and you always have products to buy. You don't have to be sitting in the business all the time. You can produce lots of revenue, lots of profit for yourself. So this is just 2 pretty big wins that have happened pretty recently here. Wanted to share that and let you know that yes, a VA was able to help them do this on top of what they're already putting into the business. Okay, lesson number 5, timing is a lever. There's items that you're going to buy today that you're going to also maybe not restock next month, but you will restock month 4, month 6, because these items are very, very, very cyclical. And I'm going to show you an example here. Okay, but there could be a right product in the wrong time, right? But you don't want to buy a right product at the wrong time because you're going to have still inventory, again, breaking even on it. And store sale patterns exist, right? There's websites. People think that they can't replenish items when they come from a sale, but that's far from true. These websites are running sales literally every single month. Majority of websites will run the same exact cycles every single month on different weeks. You just have to be able to pay attention to them and track those too. So whenever they do run those sales, you're seeing them, you're catching them, and you're able to buy these products when they're cheaper. And this isn't the only one aspect of the business, right? This is one aspect to it, is buying items on sale, but there's plenty of other items and different methods of sourcing you can do to find products that you can just buy at retail costs and resell on Amazon for product or profit without needing sales. But at the end of the day, obviously we want to be buying items on sale too, because we're adding to our profits. And generally these items that we're buying from these sales that these stores run are usually quicker moving items too. Again, there's difference in sourcing depending on what level you're at and how much you're trying to spend a month. But yeah, you can track these things. And timing is a lever when it comes to arbitrage. Like, you need to be timing these things out. And the only way to learn these is by being immersed in the business for several months. Tracking leads equals more profit. I'm going to continue to stress this in all my videos because this has been a huge game changer for me and my students, is tracking leads and being alerted for things and buying them as you progress when they're more profitable. This is a huge piece of the business that's going to make it so much easier. And just to show you how these things work, a lot of these items we can buy consistently year round at a profitable price, but sometimes they sell at a much higher price. So we want to be capturing these items when they're at the highest prices, right? This item right here is profitable today. We can sell for about 25 bucks, but the ROI is okay. Like, worst case, whatever, we're still making money, but it's not an item I want to be replanning and rebuying at this moment. And the reason to that is because it looks like we've come up in offers. You can see this chart. Our offer count has come up, but throughout the year here, it's typically selling at about $28, which at these prices is the time I want to be buying it. So I want to be getting alerted for these items whenever they're profitable here. Because if you look back at this item goes through phases majority of the time that it's really, really profitable. Like right here, we're extremely profitable. We have peaks at about $29, $30. Right here, we had crazy peaks at about $40. So these items are really, really profitable here. And we want to be getting alerted for times when this is happening. And again, what we're able to do to track this is by using Keepa's track product feature and by putting these on spreadsheets. So we're constantly looking at these items, right? These items here that look like this, that are this cyclical, always price up and down, offers up and down, are literally all over the place. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of items like this, and the best arbitrage sellers know these cycles and how they're happening, and they're making money and buying these when they're really profitable. And the only way to do this is going back to lesson number 4, is by having systems in place to be catching these. That is the goal here, to make buying products as easy as possible and as profitable as possible. That is what I can recommend from someone that spends $50K a month from month 9 on profitable inventory for their Amazon business. And these 5 things are things I never hear people talk about, because most people view this business as a hustle and not really an actual business that you can sustain long term. I mentioned it briefly, but I work one-on-one with students of mine like Melissa and Damien. They've actually been with me for over a year, so they're they're crushing it now, well on their own. They built this sustainable business for themselves. But if you are new and you're looking to build a sustainable arbitrage business and you'd like me to personally hold your hand throughout that process, help you find products, build the systems for you, with you, then there's a Calendly link down below. Feel free to book in a call. We'll give you a demo of what that looks like. And if it's a good fit, you have capital for inventory, you understand this is going to take some time and you're ready to work, let's get you going, let's get started, and I'll run you through exactly what that looks like. Anyways, if you have any additional questions, drop them down below in the comments. Also, shoot me a DM on my Instagram. I'm very responsive there with answering any questions you might have. And if you enjoy this video right here is going to walk you through exactly what those first 1 to 9 months look like in terms of profit. And you see an inside look of what it actually looks like to run a business with winners and losers in your store and what the profits actually look like.